If you want to hear about St. Louis, tune in to the Bucket List Show weekly. Hear what Marissa and Luke say. It drops every Wednesday. Got a dope new guest every single week. Buckle up for the ride. Who's it gonna be? Who's on the show today? They rep St. Louis. What to do in the loo on a late night, or maybe what to do on a date night. Yeah, Bucket List has you covered. They know what's going on. What's going on? They'll give you, hey, 18 different things to do, or 19 if you need one more to choose. Yeah, this city is a place we call home. A place we call home. Yeah.
Welcome back to the STL Bucket List Show. I am your host, Luke Farrell. Of course, your other co-host, Marissa Farrell. She is changing the lives of students. It's the end of the year, so she's getting those finals in, but she'll be back next episode for summertime. So before we get into it, we have a very special episode with some of our new partners on the podcast, but I want to get in to some of our other partners, like the Regional Arts Commission of St. Louis. They're the largest public funder of arts and art programs right here in St. Louis. And if you didn't know, everybody thinks St. Louis is a sports town, but more people travel to St. Louis for art, like the Fox, the Muni, and other things than sports on a yearly basis. Yeah, so it's St. Louis in reality is an arts town, but we also are a sports town as well. And then, of course, Matt in the back at Half Coast Studios cutting up a perfect episode every single week, so we can put it out on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, all the platforms. But before I get into the intro, I got to talk about Mattress Direct. Okay. So I got Pat in here. He's pretty famous. He's on the news a lot. And then we have the comfort consultant, Lux, who you guys might know Lux from the radio. So if you guys want to introduce yourself, let's start with Pat. Tell us a little bit about yourself, man.
Yeah, well, I'm Pat McCurran from Mattress Direct, and I have been in the mattress business my entire adult life. Started Mattress Direct in 2011, and along the way, I was able to make Lux super comfortable, and she liked it so much that she helps me. So, Lux, my comfort consultant, is helping us spread the word.
So, Lux, you came from the radio. Now you're laying on beds.
Yeah, I bought my mattress from Pat in 2017. I think that was when I first got my mattress from you and fell in love with it. Then my parents got their mattress from Mattress Direct. I had an aunt come down from Iowa, and she got her mattress. We got my grandmother's mattress, and I realized...
Oh, it's a family thing.
Yeah. I realized they're doing really good business over there. And, you know, I've always kind of been on that wellness kick. Yeah. So it just, the two things matched right up, and I had to come over and get involved with Mattress Direct.
Yeah, I still remember the first time you were in my office and we were talking about pillows that can keep your body temperature regulated. And I went to the back to get a prototype, and I told you, let me change your life. And then I brought it back, and I did.
And you absolutely did. And seriously, here we are now.
Right.
So this is really cool. So we met you guys a few weeks ago. I kind of just reached out and I was like, you guys would be a perfect fit for our show. And as we're growing our show, we're looking to expand what we're doing. And I think, we talked about everything with our audience. So I want to learn a little bit more about, before we get into the mattresses and all the fun stuff, I want to learn a little bit more about you, Pat, and a little bit more about your backstory, because I know this is a family business and it's been in St. Louis for a very, very long time.
Yeah, that's 100% right. I grew up in the mattress business almost by accident, and I'll tell you, nobody sets out to start their career and become the mattress king of St. Louis, but here we are, right?
Yeah.
But no, man, when I was 6 years old, my dad bought a mattress store, and it was in a building that my granddad owned, and he had a tenant that was doing pretty good selling mattresses. My dad didn't really understand the business, but saw that things came in and things went out. And so they had an opening, and he ended up buying that business for the inventory involved. And so I grew up around. Since I was in kindergarten, I've been growing up around mattress stores, right? And so as the years go on, I was able to help people get a better night's sleep, learn lots about what people think about getting a good night's sleep and how important it is. And it's such an interesting product because it's not something you think about every day, but it's something that affects you every single day.
Yeah.
And so, man, my dad had this employee who was helping people in a department store. He was in the mattress department in Famous Bar in the 1940s. So he sold mattresses before he left to fight in World War II.
Is that the old location down by the Goodwill right there on Van Deventer?
He worked down there, but actually the spot we're talking about is the oldest mattress specialty store in the state of Missouri, maybe the country. We're not 100% sure about that. But in 1974, he opened the store in the St. Peter's building, which was at the time called the Mattress Factory. Mm-hmm. And so today it's the Factory Direct mattress showrooms for Mattress Direct. Mm-hmm. But he came back and he started that business, and he'd already retired in his 60s, but came back to work for my dad. Mm-hmm. And so I learned a lot about what's important to people and how to help them get a better night's sleep from, just 3 generations back.
Yeah, that's huge. So tell us a little bit about the entrepreneurial journey of you. So you worked there, and then you've bought businesses along the way and expanded your footprint a little bit as well.
That's all true. I put myself through school helping people find mattresses, got to my degree program in management information systems, and realized I could go work a help desk for somewhere, but I wasn't going to be helping people as much as I was in the job I was, right? Mm-hmm. And so my dad had the one little store and it had really no designs on growing it. I mean, he accidentally got into it in the first place. Mm-hmm. And so Mattress Direct was founded in 2010, ultimately because the competitors, like the big chain stores you could buy from, like they don't know a lot about St. Louis. And like, it's funny that like the product that is good for our environment, like the summers are hot and the winters are cold and the humidity all affects those materials in your bed and how well you sleep. And so like if a big chain is in town and they've got stuff that maybe works better on the coast than for St. Louis, like we really wanted to build a better way of doing it. And like the mattress business has historically had this bad rap of having stuff on sale all the time. Mm-hmm. And so what we concentrate at Mattress Direct and what we founded our principles on was we're going to help you find the right bed. And because we have the guaranteed lowest price because they come direct from the factory, like we can just focus on finding the one that fits you, right? Mm-hmm. And so that was a really resonating topic with people. It's like, we don't want to hear that it's the best sale of the century again this week. We want to just find the one that helps us sleep better. Mm-hmm. And so we founded Mattress Direct in 2010. We opened 2 stores in 2011. We opened 2 stores in 2012. We opened 3 stores in 2013. Right around that time, we started a delivery company to service this and moved out of the contract world. Right about then, I bought my dad's business back from him. We used that as a clearance center for a while as we got the building renovated. Mm-hmm. In 2017, we acquired the Campbell Mattress Factory, which was and is the oldest mattress manufacturing facility in the state of Missouri, celebrating 90 years this year. And I had sold Campbell mattresses in middle school and high school. I was like moving them and unloading their trucks. Yeah. And today it's part of the Mattress Direct family.
Yeah, that's huge. That's like a true testament of, you know, not capitalizing on it, but finding opportunities and being able to make the process seamless for everybody, because you're acquiring things that make your business more efficient and you're making your product more affordable, but also you're controlling the whole entire process.
Making the product more affordable and making it easier to find. The funniest thing about the mattress business is there's a whole cadre of like third-party marketing companies selling a totally unique and special product in a box that's actually the same product over and over and over again, right? Mm-hmm. You had mentioned a couple of them when I was walking in the building, but there's Campbell builds the same mattress for 3 different companies that sell that same product on Amazon, each as the unique and different life changer that's different than any other mattress on the market, but it's the same mattress over and over again. And so when you cut that middleman out and you actually buy your mattress direct from the factory, you're going to get more value. Mm-hmm. And being able to build them locally means we're not, pumping in extra gas to get them here from across the country or across the planet. You get more mattress for your money when you buy one that's built down the street.
Right. So Lux, we've known you for a while, and I know, you used to work for the radio. I want to hear a little bit about your journey into kind of your career that you're doing now and kind of how it correlates with what you guys got going, because you started in the radio a long time ago, didn't you?
Yeah. In fact, what's today? The 19th? The 19th? Yeah. The 21st of this month will be my official 1 year from being off the radio. That was Point Fest last year.
That's quick.
And I believe that's actually Point Fest is this weekend. So I think we're exactly like 1 year from that, which is really exciting.
Yeah, that was your last gig.
Yeah, and I've done so many things since then. Obviously, I jumped into the cannabis world. Mm-hmm. Back then, it was only medical, and I wanted to kind of just open up and share my experience in the hopes that it would change the stigma around it, in hopes that, again, we would recreationalize, which we have done. So I do feel like I was a good part of that, and I'm not done advocating for that in any way, shape, or form. But I had started with the St. Louis Ambush, and I'd played soccer my whole life. I still play recreationally. I had an assist last night in my game.
Hey.
Congratulations.
I know. Had I made a goal, that would have been great too, but the assist is fine. I love soccer. I love soccer so much that I kind of have fallen into it. And the Ambush is such a small organization. And it reminds me why it's perfect that you and I got together today and why we get together with Pat and why I call myself Lux St. Louis. I love St. Louis. I love the localness of it. And the St. Louis Ambush is locally owned by 2 individuals who like literally live out in St. Charles. Nice. They're not these multi-million-dollar, they don't own these corporations, but they own the St. Louis Ambush. There's like 8 or 10 of us there. So on top of being the public address announcer and doing some social media for them, I said, like, is there a way that I can help with some sponsorships and partnerships? And because Pat has 6 locations surrounding the St. Charles area, and we perform in the St. Louis, in the St. Charles area at the Family Arena, I thought this is an absolutely perfect partnership. Plus, seeing the players, a lot of them live in player housing, and the mattresses and the beds they were sleeping on were old. I mean, that's one, they keep the mattresses. They don't have
a huge budget for stuff.
And the players don't complain about it. They're not the ones to go to the coach and be like, oh man, this mattress sucks. They just go to a house, they sleep on it, they go to practice, but they're using their bodies in these extreme ways. So I thought, how can I get them better sleep? How can I help them? And I thought, I have known Pat for so long. I contacted Pat and he was like, this is an absolutely natural fit. We got the player house set up with new mattresses, which is incredible. They all got new mattresses and pillows and bed frames and such, thanks to Mattress Direct. And then it just sparked from there that I loved creating content and helping people find awareness around wellness. That started with cannabis. Even in my radio days, working with mental health, doing stuff for the AFSP or the AFPS, American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, AFSP, Lord, my brain. Working with them, wellness is something that's just really overall important to me. And especially after the pandemic, where we came out of this grind till you die, 4 a.m. club, motivation, hustle, sleep when you die. And then we all took a look at our health. And we're like, okay, that's not really sustainable. And we look at stuff into the future, into your old age, and you think, okay, we've got dementia, we have Alzheimer's and all these really scary things that we still don't know enough about. We're still researching. But what we do know is that proper sleep, sleeping well, recovering is the most important thing you can do right now to help yourself prevent that kind of stuff or to help delay it. So when I got together with him, I was like, okay, how can I become a part of this? And we thought, he's like, you left radios, you want to join in mattresses? I was like, it's not just mattresses. And it's because it's Mattress Direct. Right. I went to a mattress firm where I went to sell for
We'll bleep that out.
That is it. But when I'm working with Pat, not only am I combining my love for local stuff because the people who work at all 14 area locations are local, and then the Campbell mattresses, they're built local. So your money goes to you're shopping with Brandon, so he's getting your commission. But then if you're getting a Campbell mattress, Brenda down at the factory is the one who's getting the money, which is incredible. I'm helping people find a way to better their quality of life while sleeping, which is incredible. And just having so much fun doing it. Yeah. It's really been quite a blessing.
I just told Pat before you came in, I was like, I've been seeing it more, so it's obviously working. But then the fact that you're making mattresses fun and sexy and just having fun with the content. And that's that radio correlation where the radio is shifting more towards content creators anyways. And if you're not doing that, then people are forgetting about what, because they just they see the clip online. They're like, oh, I saw you on the radio. I didn't listen live, but I saw the clip.
You used to disappear if you left radio. I remember the first time that Tom and Jeff went off the air, and Jeff, God rest his heart, is his birthday this week. We miss him so much. But the first time they jumped off the air, they disappeared. We were just barely into the Twitter world. This is 2010-ish. We're barely into social media. But when I left the radio, I had already built this channel where I could connect with people, not just 2 to 7, but 24/7, 365. Right. And being able to use that to highlight great local places. I get to work with Steve's Hot Dogs, which is so great. Yeah. I love Steve. I love seeing him
Steve and
build.
Danny over there and all that.
He at one point he was thinking, and you got to get him on here if you haven't.
I do.
But at one point he was thinking about just closing the whole thing down.
Right.
I remember that.
And jumped in.
And now look at what they've grown. And it's
he put a public thing out, we're going to close. Yeah.
And St. Louis is such a special market where that is really possible because it's what high school you go to. It's because you know somebody who knows somebody who knows somebody that entrepreneurs can really flourish. And then people like me who kind of just want to lift up the local businesses that are doing good things and really helping people, that I get to connect with Pat and do this.
And I think that sort of covers all of it. But ultimately, the ambush was a really good access point where here are these professional athletes that the general public realizes that they have a strict regimen for diet and exercise, but they were sleeping on mattresses that would be embarrassing for your child. And so
some of these mattresses, Pat remembers he either designed. Did you design them?
There was a couple prototype mattresses that they had gotten from one of our outlets at one point, but it was basic stuff.
We had bought them from his actual location. Pat came in to take out the mattress and was like, "I actually
sold that to you."
Yeah, basically,
not personally, but
yes.
But if you know that a professional athlete needs to spend time and effort on restoring their body after performing, and if we can help them feel better, imagine what we can do for you. The folks that but don't get a good night's sleep and don't think about it. And as a society, and like SDL is not any different than anywhere else in this regard, like we are all geared to like, let's stream one more episode. Let's stay up a little bit later. Let's do one more thing. You're the king of it, man. The bucket list, all the stuff I want to do. Imagine how much more stuff you can do when you're more rested.
And I agree with you that. And one of the books that I read, Atomic Habits, was James Clear wrote it. I think his name's James Clear, but he said one of the things that's non-negotiable in his day is his 8 hours. Yeah. No matter what. If he goes to sleep at 2, he does not get out of bed till 10. If he goes to sleep at 9, he'll wake up early. But I've started doing that, and I actually do not set an alarm because of that reason of that anxious feeling when you hear that beep, beep, beep. Yep. Just let your body wake itself up. Yep. And as an entrepreneur, we go through so much stuff. Like my day never ends. There's always an email I can reply to.
For sure.
And you don't stop at 5 p.m.
No, never. But one thing I do is I do sleep a lot. Yeah. And I make sure that I get that 8 hours because then I'm always refreshed for that next day because everybody thinks it's cool to stay up. They're like, oh, I stayed up all night. I worked 70 hours this week, bro. Like they're the gym bros. They're like, I worked 70 hours, bro.
Every successful person gets a great night's sleep. And like I sleep better than almost anybody in St. Louis, I guarantee it.
Yeah, you probably got the best bed in the city.
And you know about it. And it's not, you don't have to buy the best bed in order to get the best night's sleep. You just have to get the one that fits you. And it's like you sleep on your side, you sleep on your back. Everybody's got a little bit different position and different needs. There are 2 or 3 things that we can narrow down. And like that's the funniest part about it is it's treated as a product. Like you could buy one off the shelf or you could buy one online. And like, I don't know, man, you ever bought a one size fits all and had it fit like a glove? The answer is no. And so when you go see a sleep specialist who's going to save you money and find you the one that you're going to sleep better on, you're going to feel better every day. There's just so much value in getting something that actually fits the way you get to sleep.
Yeah, I like the quote, you can do more things on your bucket list when you sleep well.
You absolutely can. I mean, you absolutely can. Okay, so speaking of St. Louis City, they had this incredible City Insider event. You had to go and watch the guys train, and there's like face painting for kids, and they're doing a city feud, and I was literally too tired to do it. Yeah. That is so upsetting. I feel like I was the only person on social media who loves that team and who follows them as closely as I do, who is not at that event because I was literally so tired. And that was my own fault for like staying up. It's like, man, you really can't. And even if you do go to it, you can't experience it. You're not feeling good. You're cranky. Right. You have a harder day at work. And it's like, where do you look at that and go, okay, what am I doing that's causing this? Yeah. And then how do I find that for myself? And it's not going to be through a box bed on the internet, to be pretty frank with you. It's
man, like, if your old bed is not good and it's time to replace one, and just like recognizing that is the number one thing. Because like often, like if you don't feel well, you're thinking, what did I eat? Or I need to lose a few pounds or whatever it is to get to feeling better. But I mean, people know they need to drink more water. People know they need to get a better diet, and they know they need to get exercise, but they don't always think about a better night's sleep making a big difference. And so like for years now, there's been this sort of internet designs on like what's going to be like the Warby Parker of mattresses, where we could just send you the right mattress, you're going to figure it out. And the funny thing about like Warby Parker, like you still have to get your prescription in order to get a pair of glasses. And so like that's really what the sleep specialists at Mattress Direct are all about, is they're going to help you get your prescription. Number one, number two, which one of these actually takes that tension out of the small of your back. These are the things that you need to be looking for. And it's such an interesting environment where if you bought a mattress 10 years ago and it's about time for you to think about replacing it, at best, the information you have on mattresses is a little bit outdated. And today there are all those third-party resellers that all have sales pitches, but it's not really good information for you to help make decisions on. Right. And so like the number one foundational element of Mattress Direct and what makes it work is the educational component of like, Lucas, you need 3 things to get a great night's sleep. Let me tell you what you need. Let me help you find it. And then we're going to make sure you get the best price on it. And then you go home happy, you feel better, and you make more episodes.
Right. Hey, more episodes. That's what we need. So one of the cool things about St. Louis and like our whole show was sprouted from that support local. And we went to other cities, like we travel a lot. And all these other cities have the same tight-knit community. They have these digital pages that highlight all these businesses. And when we came to St. Louis, we moved from originally Winsville downtown, and there wasn't like that community page that really like was this unbiased source for St. Louis. So we came at an interesting approach. Like the magazines are all pay to play. Same with even radio now is all pay to play. And basically what we did is we wanted to create this outlook of St. Louis from a young couple that was 23 at that time. And we were giving that advice, and that's how we grew this community. But we just didn't realize how, like, if you need something and you just ask for it and it gets done. So like during COVID is when we kind of blew up, because all these places were messaging us like, hey, we're struggling right now. Like, can you post about us? Yeah. Boom, we post about it. 50 people would go there and maybe like save that business for that 1 month or whatever it might be. So I think St. Louis is so special. So I kind of want to talk about the city in general and your guys' experiences. And we can kind of start with you, Pat, and be like, what does St. Louis mean to you? Because you've decided to live here, build your businesses here. Everybody that you hire lives here. Their families live here. Like it's a St. Louis story, really.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a St. Louis person at heart, and like you and I were talking about some of your sponsors and some of your friends and your business. These are all people we know. And like the great thing about what I do is everybody sleeps somewhere. And so everybody you know needs to be able to lay their head down at night. And like I help them all. And so like we've gotten to be really good friends with lots and lots of people. But like I'm that guy. I was like, where'd you go to high school? Not because I'm particularly interested in that, but like I probably know 3 guys you went to high school with. And like I played hockey with a bunch of them, and then I met a bunch of them playing music. And we get to be friends with lots and lots and lots of people in this business. And so it's such an interesting thing because on the front end, nobody is excited to go shop for a new mattress. It's not a fun process in their mind. So we try to make it as painless as possible. It's going to be easy. You're going to come in, you're going to find the right one, and we're going to help you get to it and get to sleeping better. But on the back end, we are heroes. The delivery guys are the flower delivery men. We are bringing them this peace of mind. You mentioned like resting, relaxing, and recovering are the 3 things that we want you to be able to do in your bedroom. Right. And so like being from St. Louis, like it is a special place in our hearts. It is very, the values of just show me the best possible deal. Show me how it's going to work for me. Don't put one over on me. Don't tell me it's the best sale of the century again this weekend, which is like the Mattress Firm's MO is sort of a used car lot. I said it again, but let's not do that. And that's the whole thing around retail. And there was a big chain here in town that doesn't exist anymore when we first started, and they left the market because the birth of the internet. Ultimately, being able to be transparent and tell people exactly what it is they need, exactly how to get it, and make sure they get the best price is what we're there to do. And so that, I think, really fits with like the St. Louis MO of like, we don't want to be tricked. You know, we don't want to be told what to do. We just want to be shown how to do it for ourselves.
Yeah. What does St. Louis mean to you, Lux?
Oh, man, St. Louis is the greatest. I just love it so much. I feel like, especially in radio, people were like, well, are you going to go to a bigger city, or you can go to, you know, because we're in the top 20 market, but like, do you want to go to like a top 3 market?
We're like number 20.
Yeah. And I was like, no.
Right.
No, we have such an incredible opportunity here, especially to build from something. St. Louis is such an old city, but at the same time, did not, I guess, develop as much as the way you see like Chicago or New York. So like as somebody, I'm going to be 40 in December, but started radio at 23, right when you guys popped off and started your thing.
Awesome.
Like that, I think that's a moment where you realize this is a city where you can put back into it, and it's going to, like, you're going to put it in the ground, plant it, water it, and it's going to grow. And because there's other people in that soil who are with you, there's so many people locally in the arena, and we all understand that we're in this. And instead of battling against each other, St. Louis has a really strong history of fighting together. So like partnering with Mattress Direct, partnering with St. Louis City or the Ambush, following your page and that, it's just, you can't get that anywhere else. I wouldn't leave it.
I think that's very you and very St. Louis, is like you are like an important voice to the people of St. Louis. And like you start thinking about knowing St. Louis and being able to talk about like where you went to high school. It's like an important part of that. You start thinking about trying to go to a different city where you aren't native and you don't know those things, and you're just one more voice out there. That doesn't sound rewarding to me either. So I can't imagine why you'd want to.
No, I also love like with Mattress Direct and what St. Louis Bucket List does, we're helping people. And it's not just helping your clients or the companies, you're helping the people find those things. We're basically,
for people.
we're basically just connectors. And that's what I love to do in general. I want to connect people to the MASL, which is indoor soccer and such. I want to connect them to the best bed. And working in radio, I was able to look through all the businesses in St. Louis and choose the ones that I wanted to work with. So I was never forced like, oh, you need to talk about this car dealership or that car dealership. I always was able to look into them.
And actually go visit them.
And
not vet them, but just make sure it's a business that you want to be, or like buy from them. Like, well, I want to buy from them before I talk about them.
I sleep on their bed. For Mother's Day, my mom got a new pillow. She's very excited. My dad is like, so Father's Day is how long away?
3 weeks.
He just like sneaks it out from underneath her. It's so
dads
funny.
are always jealous because moms always get more love.
We always tell people to take home 2 of the pillows, because if they're going to take home 1, they're not going to end up with it by the end of the night. So,
That's it's just it is, and it's a city that you can be an entrepreneur in, because like it is really hard to start a business, especially nowadays. It's really risky, and when we were able to do it and And there were so many people that supported. There's no like really competition. I'm sure there is, but from a distance. But I think that that's one of the great things about that is like I've been able to ask people that I've met that I look up to and ask for help and go get lunch. Like I could ask you something. I could ask anybody anything of like, hey, what would you do in this situation? Like look at like I open my books up with people and be like, am I doing things right? Or like where should I spend my money? Stuff like that. And people give you advice, and that's been the biggest thing for me as like a younger entrepreneur from outside of the city, moving into downtown and really just trying to like engulf myself in the environment. But the same way, we just want to provide value. That's the biggest thing is if we're putting this content out there and it doesn't provide value to the actual people that are following, it's not for us.
No.
The people that we notice on social media that are influencers, they make it too much about them. They'll be at a restaurant and they'll be posting pictures of them, but we're like, what's on the menu?
Yeah.
What's the story of the owner of the restaurant?
I told you, I want to see the door. Is this the weirdest thing that anyone has ever talked about? But like, I want to see the location.
And we've been doing that.
Yes, because when I park, I don't want to wander
you get
around
anxious.
and we're looking for the doors. I was like, as much as I love seeing Instagram, people eat and I show myself eating, like every time I want to profile a Mattress Direct location, I want them to see the door. I want them to see what stores are around it so you can just easily find it. That's so
it is
silly.
that anxious feeling. And that's what I want to talk about you, because you've weathered the storm. When you pretty much took over like in 2010, the internet was not really that popular. Did you guys have like a good website then or not? Like,
well, it's interesting.
What was the shift like over the last 10 years?
Well, year one, the Mattress Direct website was a WordPress with essentially like browserware, brand aesthetics and like things that particular lineups are for. But like ultimately from the website, you're not going to be able to figure out which one's the right one for you. And even to this day, which is a much more robust system that ties into the point of sale. And so if you can order a mattress on the Mattress Direct website and have it delivered. In fact, if you come in today and pick one out in the store with a sleep specialist, but you're not ready to make that purchase, they can put it in a shopping cart for you. You can go home, you can buy it tonight when you're resting and realizing how bad your old mattress is. But it's funny, like the mattresses that you could buy online are not the ones that you would buy if you were in person. And so we know that people who buy their mattresses are not getting the best night's sleep possible. And there is sort of an element of like grocery shopping hungry to it, where like if your old bed stinks and then you get a one size fits most mattress in a box, you're not getting the best value and you're not getting the best night's sleep, but it might be better than what you were getting. But you'll see the return rate on mattresses that people buy online is creeping north of 40% of the people don't sleep better after spending their money in a box. And so like with the sleep specialist in the store, we're actually seeing this kickback of like, we bought our first bed from you 10 years ago, and it was time to replace it. We thought we'd just go ahead and get one online, and it was not better than the one that was 10 years old. And so we have decided to come back and get a big boy bed from Mattress Direct and be able to sleep better.
What's the return rate on like people coming to you for that kind of thing?
I mean,
in comparison to that 40-some%.
If you come to a Mattress Direct and meet with a sleep specialist, they walk you through how to find the right mattress. If you go through that process, you pick out a mattress, we give you a full year to make sure it's the right mattress in your showroom. They call it a comfort assurance policy. So if we get it wrong, we'll make it right. But like it's 1%-ish of people who don't make the right choice. And often it's the ones that, well, the $1,000 bed that was only $800 factory direct was good enough, but I could have bought the $1,500 mattress that was only $1,000 factory direct, and they know what they skipped out on, so they come back and get
a new one or like upgrade.
Well, ultimately, I think you would do the same thing if you come in and it's like there's a $200 difference between this bed and that one is probably going to keep you from sleeping too hot. But if you don't sleep hot very often, maybe you don't, and then some night you're sweating and you're just like, I should have gotten the other one.
Yeah.
Right. So, but that's why we do the full year. I mean, St. Louis summers are hot and humid, and winters are cold and bitter, and we want to make sure those materials all react. And the way the mattress feels is important, but the way your body feels on it is what's most important.
Yeah, that's very interesting, because I feel like with those other gimmicks, it's like, buy it now, you don't pay for 90 days, and then they end up sending it back in 90 days. But that just seems like so much work. Like, I don't want to fold a mattress.
Not only is it so much work.
I don't want to send shit back. No matter what.
That part of it is
That's what I hate about Amazon. If they send you a crappy product, you're like, well, I don't want to go to UPS and pay for a postage. And
just imagine 90 days of not sleeping well, and you are lucky to be alive at the end of it. So why would you even risk your health wellness to try to sleep on a bed that doesn't fit? I mean, like, you're just not going to wear. I say this all the time in the mattress retail world. They've got a great sale. It's a hot deal. Let's say it's sneakers, and they're going to pull up out here, and the Jordans I want are $50. I was like, man, I'm going to go out there and get there. And all they have is size 6s. It's like, well, I'm not buying any because they don't fit my feet. And it's like, if you don't have 13s, this is not for me. And so buying it because it's on sale instead of because it fits is the first problem people make.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that's what's so cool about what we're doing here is because, never would I thought like the STL Bucket List show would be partnered up with Matt. Like I just never would think of that. But now that I'm getting older, about to be 28, I'm like, okay, all my friends are actually in this process right now. And everybody in St. Louis that follows us is between the ages of 21 and 38.
Yeah.
That's like our prime audience. Yeah. And if they're going to buy something, they might as well buy it local. That's our whole mission, is to highlight the people, places, and events in St. Louis. And
it's going to keep the costs down so much. And again, with that age category, you're the people who've just gotten out of college. Mm-hmm. Maybe your parents gave you a mattress for your first apartment or whatever, but now you're going, God, this mattress is 10 years old. Like, and your body, the sweat, the body oils, the skin. I mean, I'm not trying to
talk about the gross stuff.
I don't want to talk about the gross. Like, I'm not trying to get real gross.
This is for Instagram. Chill.
Like your body deteriorates those beds. So that is the age category where a lot of people really think about it.
If we're going gross, I'll go ahead and tell you, like, your average person perspires about a half a liter a night. So you and your partner in the bed dumping a liter of perspiration, body salts and oils into your mattress. So we got a really nice product that takes care of all this. It's a moisture barrier that keeps that from getting down into your mattress and makes it last longer. But people are just used to it. They don't think about it being an important thing. They wake up every day, maybe not feeling 100%, maybe not feeling great. Like you mentioned earlier, like I haven't set an alarm in years. If you go to bed about the same time each night, you'll wake up about the same time each morning, and that's your circadian rhythm putting you into a great night's sleep. And that feeling people get when your alarm goes off and you're groggy is like you getting awoken from the wrong stage of sleep. And so that never happens to you if you don't have to set an alarm.
Yeah, it's the best thing ever. And I know some people like that have to work really early, like of course set an alarm, but
I'll set my alarm for 9 and I wake up at 7 because my body is now used to it because I've been sleeping well for a while.
Right.
You got to treat it like a backup. I mean, like if you can plan on getting to bed about the same time every night and waking up about the same time every morning, you will feel better every day.
And I think our generation and even up to like that 25 to 40 range is like we're so focused on self-improvement. I read all these books, I listen to all these podcasts, but like I eat, I drink a smoothie, I do my multivitamins, like, and I'm only doing that at 28. Most people like my parents' age are starting to do it now to prevent in their 60s. They're like, well, let me try to hold this off so I can be here for my grandkids. And not saying it's just sleep, but like our generation, like I want to be old and I want to have my businesses grow and pass down. I want to have this like trajectory and legacy of like being around and being able to run around. Like I don't have children yet, but I want to be able to run around with people. And sleep is just one of those things, but it also is diet. And I think that we're spending so much money. Like I spend hundreds of, maybe thousands of dollars a month on self-improvement and health and wellness. And I think that that's the best. Like I don't even think about it.
No, and then people look real shocked when they look at a mattress tag and they're like, oh my God, this is crazy. I should only spend like $600 on this. And you're like, no.
How much time do people spend on their bed?
Your body really needs something better than that. You deserve something better than that.
If you get 6 hours a night, that's a quarter of your life, right? That's 25% of your average day. And so if you get 8 hours of sleep, which is what most people recommend, and it kind of goes down as you get older, but it's up to a third of your life. And you're right, like it's part of the reason the factory direct messaging works so well, because you're getting the bed direct from the factory. The same thing that the Campbell factory sells to a retailer in Mississippi that gets marked up. Like you buy it for the same price Mississippi's stores buy it for. So you're going to get a much better buy on it when you get it. And it's funny how people just think about it. And like you alluded to it, like the money you would spend on a healthy meal, or people would love to, pop a pill and make them feel better. But if you break that cost down on a per night, per hour kind of basis, I mean, like you cannot spend a better dollar than the one you spend on getting a better night's sleep.
I pay like $55 a month just for multivitamin packs. So that's $600 and $700 a year.
Yeah. And so like for $55 a month, you can have one of the nicest mattresses in the world. And you might not need the nicest mattress to get the best night's sleep. We always want to make sure we're getting the right fit. So we'll show you all the different products when you come to Mattress Direct. But if the most comfortable, most supportive, best cooling mattress is not in your need range, then they're not going to tell you to buy it.
Yeah, that's what I like. Like even though I'm younger and I'm used to the internet, I like to get sold, and not even get sold like I want to get sold, but like I went to go buy a TV at Best Buy and they used to be really, really great. Like they used to educate me on which because I'm spending $600, $700. I want to make sure I'm spending the right money. Nobody came up and talked to me. I'm just like sitting here. I'm waiting to get sold. I'm waiting to get sold because I'm a salesperson too. I like to sell people. and not even in the worst way. So then I had went to like Target, same thing. So then I'm like, where can I get information on a TV? And
I think there's certain products like that too. When it comes down to it, for me, cars. I don't understand cars. There's a lot. There's a knowledge gap between me and the salesperson. So I'm very much in need of a salesperson. I think people don't really realize that there is a very large knowledge gap in mattresses and in sleep. Yeah. The sleep specialist, as a comfort consultant, I have been trained to a level, but then the sleep specialists have been trained, you know what I mean, just miles above me in sleep science, in the products and the materials and everything that goes into it. So whatever your need is, whatever problem you have, they're going to be able to find you a solution, and quickly, because they can go through their Rolodex of knowledge as you're telling them, well, I've been sleeping pretty hot, or my boyfriend rolls around a lot and it's driving me nuts, or my back is hurting. They're going, okay, that means I need to look at this mattress, or I can help them relieve this pressure. Whereas you on the internet looking for something, or you just wandering around looking for it, it's just overwhelming, the knowledge. And again, like he said, mattresses are not something you buy every 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 8 to 10 years. So 10 years ago, I remember buying a mattress and they're like, oh, you need to have it really firm. It's because it's going to, as you age, your body's going to, and it's going to get looser. And if you buy one that's really soft, it's already soft. So it's going to just dip. That is just an absolute insane thing to say.
I didn't tell you that.
No, you did not. You did not tell me that. And we both know who told me that. But it's like one of those things where like, that is something that I have thought to be true for so long. And I've probably repeated it to other people too over the years. And it's like, that is not real. So if you understand there is a knowledge gap, it's okay. They're nobody's going to make you feel stupid, and they're not going to recycle, recite the encyclopedia at you either. They want this to be 1, 2, 3 in, out, find what you need, get it for a price you can afford, and then get on with quality of life.
They know the answers to the questions that you have, and they also know which questions you should be asking. And so, I mean, you said you like to be sold stuff, and I'll ask you, do you really, or being a sharp guy, do you just like to learn the 2 or 3 things you need to know to be able to make an educated decision? And then all of a sudden the salesman guy doesn't have to sell you anything.
That's what I meant. Like, I like to just be educated enough to know that I'm making a good purchase, even at a restaurant. Tell me what your favorite thing is, so then I can make an educated decision on what I want to do.
You mentioned like the Best Buy TV rack is a very similar world to the mattress experience, because you walk in there's a giant wall of TVs, right? And so what do? You go stand in front of the one that looks about the right size, and you're waiting for somebody to come help you. And so like I bought a TV there, and it's been 15 years ago now, but I'm standing there looking at it, and a kid comes up to me and says, "May I help you?" And of course I'm like, "No, thank you. I'm just looking," because like I know what that's like. And so he says to me, and this is like an integral moment in like the construction of Mattress Direct, truly. He says to me, he's like, "Well, if you don't know what you're looking for, we've got these plasma TVs, which would be great downstairs in the like family room. But if there's windows and ambient lights, the LEDs are going to look a little bit better, the true blacks, but the LCDs that look better, but the LED is the best of both worlds." And so like after that 1 minute thing, I knew how to buy my next TV. And like, I didn't know that before then. But if you think about walking into a mattress world, at Mattress Direct, they're all rectangles. They all look comfier than your bed at home. And so you are prone to not making a good decision if you don't have just a little bit of a tour guide experience.
Yeah, I love that point. It's just that one question. And that's why it's so important of like that first interaction. Like, car dealerships, I've had so many bad experiences with. And I love, like, my friends work at them. Like, they're great. But like, the weird hard sales, hard close, like, and I get it, like that's their livelihood. They have to close, and that's the thing. But yeah, the TV thing is just that one question, like instead of asking, like trying to push what they make the most money on, just ask the question of like, where, like, what do you have now? Like, I love the TV example because you're just like, you didn't want help, but he said, hey, just so you know, here's a quick thing while you're looking at
this
these.
This is how you do it.
And then you probably ended up buying one,
That's exactly right. And ultimately, like that's the way the sleep rules process at Mattress Direct works. Like guaranteed, when you come to Mattress Direct, you will be greeted, you will be comfortable. They will not ask you a question you don't know the answer to. But if you get to sleep on your back and your wife gets to sleep on her side, like we have a bed that will make both of you feel comfortable. And so just learning which features have which benefits that add up to you getting a better night's sleep is the entire thing.
Right.
I've had the most fun. I've been with Mattress Direct officially for like 3, I think I'm going on my 4th week.
I feel like we've been together a very long time.
We have been because of the ambush, because of everything, but like officially in my duties per week. So I've taken 2 or 3 days every week to go and like try and meet as many employees as possible and then interview them. And the first thing I ask them is, what's the first thing you ask somebody when they walk through the door? Because I want to know what that experience is going to be like for somebody, because I know shopping anxiety. After the pandemic, we've all been by ourselves a lot. We haven't been in public a lot. Having to deal with another person and customer service can be very anxious these days. So I'm like, what is the first question they ask? And most of them are like, how's your day going?
Right.
What's going on? You know what I mean? But then the next thing is,
where'd you go to high school?
Yeah, right. It should be. But it's like, how are you sleeping? What are you sleeping on? Right. Can we get you within a couple questions where you need to be and on that bed? Great. We don't need to spend 8 hours doing it like a car dealership.
Right.
We need to just get you in and get you out.
It is super funny though. It's like, ultimately, it's a easy thing to buy if you will just relax. And so often people like walk in with that shopping anxiety and they're not sure how to or what to or even what to ask for. And so all we want to do is get you comfortable so you can lay down and experience what that comfort and support balance can do for your body. And like ultimately, like the perfect bed holds the core of your body in alignment. So you've got good natural posture, but it relieves all your pressure points. And so you can just literally start to feel like your body is like melting into the bed. And if I can get that for you in 5 or 6 minutes, like you imagine how it's going to feel overnight and how you'll feel tomorrow.
I agree. And I think that since we were isolated for so long, we're wanting that experience back again. So I think that, I'm sure it was scary for you guys for a little bit being in the retail business. But then, now coming out of it, people are like, I want that personal experience. Yeah. I will drive and pay more for knowing that I'm supporting Pat's business or I'm supporting whoever's business that even if I don't personally know them, if I know that it's because I know how that feels. Like, I know how it feels when, this is just an example, but like there's a St. Louis influencer that like posts a bunch of Amazon links and it pisses me off. And I'm like, why are you supporting she makes a little money from it, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Right.
But like, if you could just make a little bit less and do post links for another business,
I met 2 employees in the first week that are celebrating their 10-year anniversary of being sleep specialists. You don't stay at a company for 10 years, especially selling mattresses, if you don't actually believe you're helping people. I've met 2 people who have got other jobs, left those jobs and come back because they wanted to work for Pat, they wanted to work for the company, and again, they wanted to help people. And they see success and financial freedom for themselves. I met a guy out in the O'Fallon area who loves that he can have Mondays off because he can be with his wife on Mondays. Like I hate the idea that like companies are families, because I know it's very toxic, but like St. Louis is a very family-oriented area, and it is cool knowing that not only are you going to get a good night's sleep, you're going to have better quality of life, but your money is going to people who love what they do, who care about what they do, who live in your neighborhood. Then if you buy from Campbell or like Relaxopedic, you're going to get your bed made in Missouri. You're not going to pay the extra shipping. You're not going to do all that. And the people are super friendly. I feel like if you like the 2 of us, you're going to like anybody who walks into a Mattress Direct because they're literally all
going to come in and ask for you. Has that started happening?
They're all goofballs.
They're like, where's Lux at?
They look for you because you're on all the commercials.
They ask
and
for me
stuff.
a lot. I think it's really funny. Like a lot of people that we're both friends with, like all of a sudden, like they'll call you for a mattress, and they could have called me last.
It's amazing. I'm getting DMs and they're like, I heard you know a person in the mattress biz. I'm like, I do.
Commission check. Come on now.
And then I tell Pat, he's like, I know them. Why didn't they ask me? I'm like, hey man, I'm just out there.
We're famously a non-commissioned sleep specialist. Okay. They all are rewarded for helping you find a good night mattress.
I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Their paycheck does not depend on you buying a bed. So.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. That's because that's where you get those bad experiences when it's a commission only environment.
Yeah, no, these people, they really like their job. The other thing I keep asking them, and we're posting these things, so if you want to check out our Mattress Direct Instagram and stuff, we're meeting the fam on Mondays, but they really do have unique answers for why they love working here, but almost every single one admits that it's getting to help somebody. That's the core of it.
Yeah.
And really coming out of the sales environment, it's an interesting world because like people who have sales experience are not really our people. And like I'll bring up what I don't think you've even met him yet, but like he came from selling cell phones, and the manager at the cell phone business said push, and grandma needs this and grandma needs that, and grandma didn't really need that. And so he came to work for us like specifically because like nothing that we are going to show you is not going to help you.
Right.
We will show you what benefits you might get from a more advanced model. And if you don't see value in that, we're not going to tell you.
I used to work for a sales company. We were selling car warranties.
Yeah.
It's terrible. Yeah. Like I learned so much about sales, but I was like, I went home and I'm like, well, I made a bunch of money, but did I?
That's a very bad feeling.
Yeah. I'm like, wow, I made great money. And then I quit like immediately, but I learned a lot from that.
Right.
Like the cell phone guys are good guys. Like they're great salespeople.
I tried to get him to make Mattress Direct eye masks. And he was like, unless they actually do good for somebody, I don't want to make them. And I was like, that is such an awesome answer. Like, first bummed because I wanted some cute masks, but he's like, if they're not actually going to help people, why would I give them to them? Because then they think that the other products I'm selling don't help people. And I was like,
every product in the Mattress Direct catalog is specifically designed to help somebody get a better night's sleep. And one of the questions I get a lot is like, which one's the best one? And the answer is they're all good. And it's kind of like getting 3 different sizes of drink. It's not necessarily that you need the most comfort if you sleep on your back. You could probably deal with a little bit less icing on top of your cake because you just need to be well supported. Like the most basic, we've got a $198 hybrid mattress that's perfect for your kid's bunk bed. You could sleep on it every night, but you might sleep better if you got this one. But none of it is stuff you wouldn't want, and none of it is not going to help somebody sleep better.
Nice. So
sorry, no eye masks, y'all.
No eye masks, but
maybe
it was a cute idea.
We could get some pajamas. Pajamas help everybody.
Y'all talked about some coffee too.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
But then you were like, I don't know if we need coffee because you sleep so good.
Yeah, we're working on it.
So I wanted to talk about kind of what we have in the plans with you guys of like working together with these partnerships on a monthly basis. So like, I know we had talked about these deliveries that we were going to be doing. So if you want to kind of tell people about that and see about the pillow deliveries and whatnot. So
yeah. Well, a lot of the people that you were already talking to are already people that are our friends and neighbors. So we already feel like we have all the same friend circles.
St. Louis as it is.
Yeah. Well, and then that's really what St. Louis is about, is it's the people and the community. But we would love to help out some of the people who need a better night's sleep. We're going to go and like hand deliver new pillows. We're going to follow delivery trucks. Luckily, they're not going to be actually manhandling all the mattresses, I don't think.
I mean,
but
I've seen you manhandle enough mattresses.
That would be good content though. He's
like literally delivering. You were lifting them yesterday in the store. CEO owns all the places and still lifts all the mattresses, ladies and gentlemen.
I think that might be like the real key, is like I was the delivery guy in high school. My high school job was delivering mattresses. My college job was helping people find the right mattresses, building one of the best mattress websites in the country in 2000, before there was such a thing.
Before the .com boom.
Shout out
WordPress. Right. I really did get some unhappy 1,000-store chains about how well I was beating them in search engine optimization 20 years ago. But I've done every job in that company, and I still value those people. And like when the delivery guys have a particular struggle on a given day, like I've been there, I know what that's like. I can help them with that. And so I'm not bashful about helping. I was helping people find a mattress yesterday. So, but we'd love to be able to just connect with more and more people who need a good night's sleep, and then really maybe even helping you highlight the people of St. Louis, and just putting that layer on like, you didn't know that you could feel better, but now you can. And then
like you said, everybody sleeps somewhere. Your cashier at Schnucks and Deerbergs, your firefighter, your police officer, your teacher. I mean, literally every single human, and for different reasons. I was talking to my hairstylist the other day who stands on her feet all day long. And I was like, ooh, we've got a mattress for that.
Rest, relax, recover.
We've been getting together with my chiropractor, Laura Shipley at Shipley Chiropractic in Granite City. We've been working with her. And she's testing the pillows right now to give us very official feedback, which is incredible. But the way that she's been talking about spines and the way he talks about spines, I'm like, everybody needs this. So if we're able to just highlight people in St. Louis, again, like you are, who are entrepreneurs who are doing their thing and how we can help them sleep, I think it just overall highlights that we can help everybody.
Yeah, I love the fact that everybody sleeps somewhere.
They
Doesn't matter where you sleep, who you sleep with, wherever you sleep, you sleep somewhere every night.
I sat down, I'm like, all right, Pat, who's your customer base? We're going to do some marketing. Who's your customer base? And he's like, literally everyone.
When at best, most of them are not sleeping well, and most of them don't know that they could be sleeping better, and they don't ever think that that's the one thing that may or may not be keeping them from getting a great night's sleep. And so we kind of talked about like St. Louis is like a people place. We want them to feel better, and so Mattress Direct is inherently like a St. Louis and local, but also St. Louis loves a good deal. St. Louis loves the community, and helping people sleep better and feel better makes a ton of sense. And so like, when you think to go buy a mattress, it's usually at like a weird time in your life. And so you mentioned it, like you hit that certain age line where people are thinking about moving. So like we get lots of people who come to see about getting a new mattress when they're going to have a bigger bedroom. And like that's the catalyst for them. And so a lot of the partnerships with the soccer club and with the hockey club, it highlights that you can increase your performance. You can feel better also. And so there's more than one reason you might be looking, but like often we just don't think that that's the first thing that's going to help us feel better.
Yeah, I agree.
I think
Excellent.
one of the other partnerships that we're excited about working in doing is working with community organizations that are super deserving. Right now, Pat is working and Mattress Direct is working with Friends with Kids with Cancer.
Yep.
You can donate your toys at any of our locations. Because there are 14 area locations, it gives us a unique ability to collect.
Cover the whole
And then
area.
because Pat also has mattress deliveries and trucks, he can then pick up all those things and bring it to one location. So I know we're working with Stray Rescue on doing a similar thing. So not only can we service everybody, we can get you in Edwardsville, Illinois, we can get you in Dardenne Prairie, we can get you in Baldwin, Sunset Hills, but we can also reach the community and give back through those locations and allowing everybody all over the region to help.
Well, and that's what Natalie said. It's like driving something from the county to downtown might stop somebody from thinking about donating it, but having a neighborhood Mattress Direct with a neighborhood sleep specialist that also wants that pup to sleep better and feel better and get adopted makes it easy for them to partner on doing that.
Everybody that's listening lives within probably 5 miles of one of your guys' locations.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Which is amazing because we have that problem too because we're focusing just on city. And what we're saying is like all of our followers are in West County and they're like, well, I don't want to come down here. Show us some stuff to do out here. Like everybody's looking for things to do. So that leads me into the STL bucket list question. So STL bucket list means different things to everybody. Everybody has their own version of their own bucket list. Mine is farmer's market on a Saturday morning and then like picnic in the park and then like, drinks at Brennan's and Central West. And like I have this idea of my STL bucket list.
I love all those things.
right?
What's your park?
I'm going to go.
I live by Tower Grove Park, but we got engaged in Forest Park on the Grand Basin. So we always go back there like when we ever like just want to feel a little bit more romantic. Like we'll go sit on Art Hill is one of the best places in the world.
100%.
But Tower Grove Park is like within kind of walking bike distance for us. So like going up there and the farmer's market, small business culture.
Yes.
Yep.
And then like restaurants, we like Oleo and Tower Grove, Russell's for brunch. We live in the neighborhood by Russell's and Macklin. So that's our idea of an STL, but every has a different one. So I want to
go with you. I feel like
right?
that's
we do. No,
you guys picking us up?
we have the unique blessing of getting invited to amazing places all the time. So, but that becomes a chore, and we're like, we don't want to go there tonight, but they're inviting us, and we feel like Katie's that just opened, all these places that are just opening, and like we want to be there.
Yeah.
But we also like want to protect our energy and our time. So, Lux, we'll start with you, Pat. I need you to think about your bucket list for a second.
I could go all day on this.
So shout out some of your favorite places. This could be anything. This could be businesses that you like. Your hair. This could be anybody.
Yeah.
Like your bucket list places.
Well, obviously, I'm such a hair fan. I'm glad that you said that. I love Homegrown Hair Company owned by Caitlin Tishka. It's in the Grove area, and it's very friendly to all people, non-binary, LGBTQIA, all races. And she also does an incredible job of collecting resources for others. She always has a bin in there, whether it's for clothes or for food, and she's always giving back, so I'm always there getting my hair done. I'm a huge fan of all the niche food group. I love Pastaria and everything they've got going on. So delicious. Steve's Hot Dogs obviously is a favorite. I'm the public address announcer for both the St. Louis Ambush and St. Louis City 2. So I got a shout out to St. Louis City 2. Not many people know what's going on there. Last year we had City 2 before we had our full MLS squad. It is known as the kind of like, it's like almost the JV.
Team,
yeah, it's
feeder
like
team.
Yeah, it's a feeder team. Yeah.
MLS Next.
Next Pro. So those games are really awesome. And it's only $13. I think with tax it's $16.
You get to see the park.
You get to go to the park.
it's
the
in
full
because
experience.
they practice in the same field.
Yeah,
and
we play at City Park.
So it's a good chance to get to the stadium without spending $100.
And you can hear Lux on the public address with her big voice.
Which is probably like, I would want to hear you on the, I like the announcers we have. They're great, but I would want to hear you on the big field.
There's very few female announcers in general at all. Not just in St. Louis,
I want to hear you on the Espanol one, like just you and then all the Spanish guys. That would be funny.
Get me in there with Santi. Those guys are so great. Absolutely. So it's a great, especially if you have kids. You got a 7-year-old. You're not sure if that 7-year-old's going to make it through a full MLS game. Do you want to spend $125 on it? No, this is really great there. So I love that. Let me think. Anything else? I don't get out to drink all that much, but I am a cannabis consumer. So I'll shout out to Suede. They've got a lot of locations. Love Good Day Farm. Honestly, all of those places. And you should probably check out places like, I don't know if the Cola Lounge is still open, but like the Green Tent. There's a lot of ways to get social
Cola
with it.
Lounge over in Cherokee.
Yeah, you can do like the paint and puff, which is really fun. There's a lot of...
It's getting more and more. It's cool out here.
And
There's
also
some
like
stuff happening.
educationally, the same thing that Pat does. The reason I love Suede so much is that they are very educational forward. My parents are in their 60s and 70s.
That's a really good parallel too, because like you don't really know what you want when you go there, and you need somebody to sort of guide you.
You
right?
walk
really
in and
need
you look,
something.
and all the cannabis is green and fluffy, and it all has
looks amazing.
smells,
and it all smells great.
And you don't know what you're doing. And like, I think a lot of the reason people were worried about cannabis in the first place is they've had a bad experience or they know somebody who's had a bad experience.
Or they got in trouble with it back in the day.
Yes, and now you can cater your experience. You can have a very high CBD, low THC, which is going to be very low psychoactive.
Mitch and Tom and all those people over there, Madeline. And
they're good. See, we all know the same people.
Yeah, of course we do. Yeah.
I mean, didn't she design the
Welcome to St. Louis.
I feel like Mitch is the one who designed what was the Anheuser-Busch dog back in the day?
That was her dog.
Yeah, that's her dog. What
so
was Spuds McKenzie.
Yeah.
So Spud was her dog. Mitch is probably one of the most badass women in the world.
I love her.
That was her in the 80s, and now she's in the cannabis world just crushing it.
Yeah. So I would say, get into your local cannabis and absolutely adopt from anywhere. I love Stray Rescue, but APA, Gateway, Pet, like there's so many dogs. We cannot just champion one. There's Stray Rescue cannot take care of them all.
Stray Rescue gets a lot of love and they kill it, but it's also like, hey, let's just try to get these out.
Yes, and they can't take care of all of the dogs, so we need all the shelters. So please adopt.
Your bucket list is very morally awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Mine is just food and drinks.
Virgil, I mean, there's a lot of weed on there, so
but that's fine.
You are great, and you are great at helping people. But I'll double down on highlighting on that one. Like Natalie's right. Like Stray Rescue, you can adopt, you can foster, you can do lots and lots of things to help. They need the funding to be able to take care of it. We were there earlier this week, and they don't have enough space for the amount of dogs that they'd like to rescue.
Dogs in rooms. I've never seen dogs in rooms.
If 10 people adopted a dog this week, they would be out there picking up 12 dogs off the side of the street to save them. And so they need the help.
Right.
But no, man, in my world, my 7-year-old does love an MLS game from beginning to end. And so, man, I could go all day long on bucket list, but he really likes his Ices Plain and Fancy. Ooh. We love Darla and Max over there.
Great. Yeah,
that's a real good one for him. And he's on his favorite food is a cheeseburger. And so all the best burgers in St. Louis is where he likes to go.
Where's your best one right now?
Well, I don't know if there's
best one.
Have you taken him to High Point or a Little High yet?
He loves the High Point.
I love High Point.
Well, he'll tell you.
Max slaps.
Max was exactly what I was going to say. He only wants to go on Sundays because he wants that Pharaoh's Donut burger. So
that's too much for me.
It is too much for me too. But when you're 7,
that makes me feel bad when I eat that.
Yeah, and he'll tell you he's been to 3 of the High Point locations, and he's ready to expand his horizons and visit some more.
Nice.
So yeah, man, we are out there all the time doing kid stuff, and so anything for the kids is also super cool. Mm-hmm. So they love to go to the park. They like the museums. They like to be able to go out and play. So we're good.
God, I can just keep thinking City Museum. They have those city nights coming up this summer. Those are the most fun. It's like going to the best bar ever. It's so worth it. Go to those.
Rooftop bar. We have so many cool, very affordable things. We're going to put out a free bucket list where it's hey, here's 8 things you can do for free this weekend.
Yes.
And basically be hey, there's college kids that go to SLU that hit us up all the time. I have no money. Where can I go? And I'm go to the art museum, walk around for 3 hours hold your hand with your girlfriend, whatever. You don't have to spend that much money.
Yep.
Go to High Point, get an $8 meal. You can get, you can have this cool experience. Comparative to when you go to Chicago or New York, I'm spending $100 the second I walk out of my hotel.
God, yeah.
So what about a date night spot? What's the date night spot? I always gotta hear the date night spot.
Yeah, man, I may have mentioned that I do have a 7-year-old and a 5-year-old.
So no dates.
Date nights are not that common anymore. But no, man, we hit McGurk's at a show at Stifle on our last date night. We like to get out and see a show whenever we can.
So dinner and a show usually.
Just a little bit of a quiet time. I don't know if you have spent much time around 5-year-olds and 7-year-olds, but they are a very high volume situation.
Yeah.
That sounds stressful.
Yeah, well, it is the best stress in the world, but they sleep really well, and so that's great. So those quiet hours are good, and it's pretty exciting. My 7-year-old does have a Campbell mattress. He's very proud of it, and my 5-year-old is still in her toddler bed, ready to move up to it. So he keeps asking me, he's when's my sister going to get her?
So are they going to work there like you did? Or are you going to try to steer them away?
I don't have a strong answer on that. I'm not going to steer them to or
some
forward.
People always have I'm going to let them work somewhere else, and then if they want to come back and work for the business.
So it is fair that I worked for my dad before I started my own business. My dad worked for his dad before he started his own business, which is actually a pretty funny story. The whole reason my family moved to St. Louis in the first place. My granddad in 1952 was a salesperson in Edina, Missouri. And he went to Las Vegas for a trade show for Motorola products. This is the birth of television, right? And so at the bar after the trade show, they have a giant fishbowl full of silver dollars. Mm-hmm. If you guess how many silver dollars are in this giant fishbowl, you win a Cadillac.
Really?
So my granddad sits down with his pencil and is doing the math and figuring out and submits his answer and wins a Cadillac and is aware of the fact that you cannot drive a Cadillac through Edina, Missouri and sell Motorola televisions. And so he flipped that Cadillac for the money to buy the Maytag distributorship for 6 or 8 states. And so that was my dad's job when he was a kid, was fixing washing machines and going to commercial laundromats and fixing things, which is how we get to be in the building with the mattress place, the first time place. They needed the basement warehouse for laundry equipment and tools and stuff. And so all down to one guy from the farm who was very good at math.
Like just guessing.
So without that, this might have never happened.
We would not be sitting here.
If he wouldn't have actually took, because most people they'll just write it and fill it in. They just want to get to your information. Like the dealership probably just wanted a lead out of it.
That's wild.
This is, pre-calculators, pre-computers. Like when
he was counting up rows and he was like, all right, if I times that by 20.
I think just volume and this is ancient history, but like when my mom and dad moved when I was 12 or 13, they got a pretty good size, like great room. And I feel like my granddad's figuring out how many bales of hay he could fit in there, just sort of farm wise. And so if it had not been for that, like my dad would not have worked for him. And like he was in a position where like, son, would you like to take over the Maytag distributorship? My dad said, no, I don't want to be the boss of this mess. And which ended up being great because he ended up transitioning himself into his own business as being a serviceman and working for the company that my granddad had sold it to. And so just one after another, those succession of decisions all kind of stems back to, one day on the farm.
Yeah.
I can't lie though, his kid is real cute on the commercials. Like I know you're not trying to push him there, but
we'll use him. Use him like
he is
cameras.
adorable. There's a video you put up today, and you're like, Campbell Mattresses, 90 years since 1933, and he goes, "That's before you were born." And I literally, kids just shout out the honest stuff. They can't help themselves.
Did you LOL?
Yeah, I did. I watched it twice. He's so cute, and he looks just like you too.
Yeah, you got to use the kid.
The
Kiddo's
Campbell
so
kiddo,
good.
he's so cute.
And like even with me and Marissa, when we do ads, like she just looks better than me, and her ads are just better.
Right,
like she just looks.
cute.
Yeah,
so
she's
cute.
just better.
He's so smart.
Well, and it started off in a family business commercial that we shot with the Channel 5 guys. Tom Rogers over there did a great job with it. But the idea is like, I've been in this business for a very long time, and there's photos of the old mattress factory. And so, my then 6-year-old son plays me as a small child working at the desk.
Oh, I need to see that one.
He's jumped right in. So he really likes being on TV. In fact, we had a commercial that he was in. So he's aware of what going to the TV station means, and he's going to be on TV. And so then we were going to have a commercial that aired during the Super Bowl this year. And so I'm telling him that he's going to be on the Super Bowl. I was like, well, when are we leaving? I got to go if I'm going to be on TV.
He thought he was going to be out in Arizona.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get there. It's not
so smart, and he gets it.
He is.
Which is really cool to talk about. But, you have that mixed thing is like, I didn't want to do it. My dad's in construction. Right. I didn't want to be in construction. Right. So like, I want to go out. So like, but they always might come back. But that like the biggest thing is just letting them do what they want to do. And
you probably got the exact same boat I was, because like my dad and my uncles are kind of look at each other as they both got it made. It's like my dad owned his own business, and so there really is no off day. You take calls whenever you have to take calls, and where my uncle, who ran a plant manager, like, he took off 3 weeks for vacation around Christmas and New Year's and didn't go to work for a month. And he thought my dad had it made because he didn't have a boss. My dad thought he had it made because he could take a month off.
Right.
And so you probably have the exact same thing. You look at your dad, it's like, well, you don't know what weekends are. You don't know what not being on is all the time. So.
But also my body feels a lot better, and I'm not
sure.
doing construction. And I don't have a red neck because of all the sun, and like the stuff that they do is crazy. But like I knew I didn't want to do that because I'm like, I would rather make money with this and this.
Yep.
It's tough to go outside of what your parents do or what you've seen modeled for you. My mom was a Parkway Teacher of the Year. My dad is the paramedic captain at Creve Coeur Fire Department. My brother is now a police officer in Des Peres, so he followed in my dad's footsteps a little bit.
I love that.
We're very, like I said,
and
we're
then you're on the radio. They're like, yeah, she's on the radio, but like she just talks all day, and we all actually do real stuff.
For a while, I think my brother like kept my identity away from like his firefighter and police buddies. He was like, I can
understand.
I could say something.
I know why he did that.
I could say something strange. You know what I mean? But like, it's very interesting to go outside of that. Like, I didn't know anybody who did radio. I don't know anybody who did cannabis or soccer. I literally have no idea what I'm doing, to be honest.
And your parents are just like, they're just probably so proud of you too, because you just keep evolving.
They like seeing me happy, and good night's sleeps help. Working for somebody like Pat helps. Being able to make my own schedule and help people makes me happy. So
I feel like I've always known you to like, forge forward and sort of define things. And even when I think about you as a radio person, like you are defining what the future of that is really going to need to be. Like this is the person who started like the 105.7 The Point MySpace page.
I was coding I was coding the MySpace page.
And you were the younger person there, and you're like, I'm foreseeing this, and that's why that they're well off right now.
Yeah, I was like,
And-
social media is it. I was like, we need a Facebook page. And I remember.
And now all
Becky
they
Chambers-
do is make videos for Facebook
It's
and social now.
amazing. Yes. And the videos are so fun.
Yeah, they do good. They do really good. But thank you guys for coming on. I always ask, if you guys want to leave with anything or if you guys want to leave with any knowledge that you want to tell the people that are listening, and then we can just kind of wrap up. And
Yeah, man. Well, in the short term, this weekend is Memorial Day weekend. Not only are there the factory direct rebates on all the mattresses, but we actually go out of our way to make sure you find the right mattress. And so the savings is all in the foundation savings option. So we've got, not only do we have like the standard foundations, you get $100 off. We've got the massage adjustable bases that help contour it to you. Those are $200 off. We have the new spaceship
we're getting
bed.
that clip for the video.
I call them the spaceship bed because I can like plug my phone in. There's like lights on. It
that's
vibrates
dangerous.
in 3 settings. It's
The
like
new
the
and
greatest
improved
thing.
one with lumbar. It's like Spaceship
I love
2.0. It's going to have USB-A, USB-C. It's got the lumbar support. It's got Bluetooth, control the whole thing, connect it to your
It's amazing.
everything.
That's crazy.
And those are $300 off. And so we just more savings on everything you need and maybe didn't even know you needed.
Yeah.
But we're going to make sure that people get a great night's sleep, and we'll be out there helping people.
Yeah, guys, support local. Support local. Thank you guys for coming on to the show today. We're going to be doing some more stuff on social, so I'm super excited about this. But other than that, guys,
Thank you for can I just say thank you for having us.
Yeah.
I'm a fan of your website. I'm a fan of everything. I love the weekly What Can I Do? It does inform how I celebrate my weekend. In fact, you guys posted about Cat Williams, and I on the day of, and I bought tickets and went because I saw your post.
Nice.
And I just really appreciate how hard you guys have worked over the years to build this, and you really deserve it. And I'm so stoked that we can be collaborating and working together. So thank you.
We were just talking to my
and
wife
thank your
about
wife,
it. Yeah.
also a Parkway Central person.
Hey,
thank your wife
for teaching the high school
for
kids.
teaching the kid, for educating the kiddos, and for being awesome. So
We're a St.
sad
Louis
we missed
family
her.
too, and I was just telling even Kyle out here, like before I hired him, like we've been doing this for 4 years, and like we really haven't even looked at, like we haven't really made that much off the STL bucket list.
Yeah.
This has been a fuel to our other stuff that we do, but now it's so fun that it's like I don't care what we do with it. Like we just have so much fun with it.
That's
but
what
being able to
people-
work
and that's
with
what
you
people
guys,
feel. That's what we feel. That's
Yeah.
what the people who are scrolling through see. That authenticity will always come out. It will come out in how he sells the mattresses. It will come out on who I'm representing or promoting, and it will come out in what you guys are doing too. That authenticity, that's a St. Louis trait.
Thank you, appreciate that.
I really appreciate being able to come visit, and really I'll highlight Lux coming on as being a comfort consultant and helping us reach people. Help me find you too, because I mean, being able to connect, and she already knew you were great, and I knew of you, but I didn't know you like she knew you, and now we all are friends. So.
Yeah, no, we're excited and super excited about what we're going to be doing with this, and just having fun with it and supporting St. Louis. So guys, we'll see you next week. Next Wednesday, we drop every Wednesday morning at 6 a.m. on all platforms. Of course, shout out to our friends over at the Regional Arts Commission, our new partners over at Mattress Direct, the Campbell boys, Campbell girls coming in the building, and then Four Hands keeping me always. It's Friday today when we're recording this. We usually record on Tuesdays, so I might crack some of these open for an early happy hour. So appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next week.
Today they rep St. Louis, yeah. They rep St. Louis. They rep St. Louis.